the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ChopStation. Again, to those for the first time and those that are coming back, we appreciate you. As always, ChopStation is a platform of love, wisdom, knowledge, building legacies. We come to you here on Thursdays at 7 p.m. sharp Eastern Time. Don't be late. Late, you're going to miss your opportunity for nuggets and you can miss things. So don't be late. ChopStation is also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify. Again, make sure you go and drop a like on every last one of them. Make sure you do it on the Facebook page. We have a subscriber total that we're trying to reach, just to reach the minimal goals for now. We appreciate that. I want to make sure we honor Dr. Jeffrey because I know he's in the house to support Dr. Odom. Mm-hmm. I want to honor all of those that have come from their respective places to honor them as well. We appreciate you and we thank you for joining in. We have the pleasure again this week of having the wonderful Dr. Pamela Odom on again. She's delivered some fire, some wisdom, some nuggets the last couple of weeks. This is the finale, y'all. This is the finale. You need to make sure that you have everybody that you can watching right now. Everybody, your brothers, cousins, sisters, every family member, go get the whole Brady Bunch. Make sure everybody's watching right now because this right here is this finale, I think is going to set the tone for not just the future, but for your future legacy as far as relationships. Make sure to go follow her on IG at Dr. for JC. That's DRFORJC. Make sure you go follow her, send her a message, let her know how well she's done as well. We definitely appreciate that. Dr. Odom, I'm here for it tonight. We've already got comments. I see comments and expectations. We in here. Everybody's ready to go. Bay downstairs. She wanted to make sure that you know that it's her in the chat today. She here today, making sure. So everybody is in expectation. So I'm not gonna spoil the title. I'm gonna go ahead and let you drop that like it's hot. We're gonna right off the presses, and we're gonna get right into it.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. I give you greetings and bring you greetings. Thanking you for being with me another time, another evening, that we may get into some good stuff on tonight. Hopefully that it will be something that you could use on your journey through your marriage and through your significant other or whatever place you choose to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Tonight, we're going to talk about intimacy. Intimacy. And so I wanted to first of all start off saying that I thank for this opportunity too. And I was telling Marvin, I said, sometimes it's good to be taken out your comfort zone. And I think this was really good for me to be taken out of my comfort zone because I never thought I would be able to speak and to say what needs to be said, that every ear from every place, whether they're saved or unsaved, are able to hear, what I have to say. And I'm really thankful for that. So I really pray that this really, really blesses your heart tonight. Okay, we're going to start with intimacy. Well, I actually want to kind of cut it down and call it a little bit like sexual communication. Because last week we talked about communication and we dealt a lot about communication. But now I want to talk about sexual communication. Well, the first thing I want to give you, because actually when I was thinking about this and I was kind of like, meditating upon it, and I thought about intimacy, I thought about romance, and I thought about passion. Because I want to try to, in this lesson tonight, I want to try to break those three down and try to bring a comparison to them, because in every communication, every sexual communication, either one of these three will be used. And so we really, in the process of all of it, hopefully your intimacy is stronger than your passion and your romance. Okay, sexual communication. Improve your intimacy. Some think that intimacy is just sex. Some think intimacy is just sex. It also implies to other issues, trust, because where there's intimacy, there's trust, there's knowing, proving what he or she wants, knowing, I'm sorry, not proving, but knowing what he or she wants in the sexual or the intimacy. Both must agree. Now, talk a little bit about that before I want to get to my definitions. I want to talk a little bit about that. Both must agree. I often believe that, and this is just talking about my relationship with my spouse. I always want harmony when this time comes around for us to come together. I believe that harmony is important, because if there is disharmony in any way, shape, form, or fashion, then somebody's going to be really disappointed after the passion is gone, because somebody's not going to get what their intentions of getting. They're not going to get that. So I believe that harmony must be mixed in with our love making, our romance, our intimacy, and have that place where we can both come together and understand and know what each other want. Next, we have to always understand that changes are necessary for the relationship to improve. You got to want to change. You don't ever want to get in a place where you get stuck. If you are, if you are in a place where you might be stuck in your sexual intimacy right now, you're probably stuck, and you're saying, well, it just seems like the fire is gone. It seems like there's no spark. It seems like we'll, get into a rut, and we're just doing the same thing over and over again, and things are not just popping like they used to pop. Things are not going the way they used to go. It could be that your harmony is not gelling together. And when I talk about harmony, I'm talking a little bit more about what's entailed in the harmony, because one can go into the bedroom thinking one thing or feeling one thing or even expecting one thing, and the other one can also go in the bedroom and have a totally different thought process, a totally different feeling. If that happens, then that's when we have to come to the point where we need to communicate what we really want to feel here tonight, and not just jumping in the bed and just doing something. We want to make it worthwhile. So I believe that harmony is important. So it's okay to ask to some point if you do not feel like you desire this, because sometimes we come together, and I want to definitely reiterate this one, because sometimes we come together and the other one might not even feel like it. The other one might not even be tired. The other one probably is tired. One of them might be tired. One of them don't feel like it. The other one might be ready to go, ready to move on, and ready to do whatever needs to be done. But if that harmony is not there, then there's going to be a disappointment in the connection. So you want to make sure that there's an understanding, and that's why I say sexual communication. You want to make sure that there's an understanding in how each other are feeling and how each other are doing. Ask questions, open up, talk about it, and not just think that individual does not want to be with you. Me personally, I would rather skip that time and wait for the harmony. That's just my take on it. I feel like that every time I come together with my mate, I need for it to be 100%. And so I need to make sure that there is harmony, in that place when we get ready to come together. Also, if she or he prefers to do something different, so be it. The other thing is just wait until you both are in harmony and don't get upset. Start saying to yourself, "Don't be with me, or something must be wrong," because it's never really like that. But that's the first thing we'll think. Oh, well, he don't desire me, or she don't want to be with me. I believe that talking from a woman's perspective, I believe that every woman wants to go into her bedroom with intimacy that will, blow her mind. She wants to be, really, really in touch with what's going on. She really wants to feel good. She really wants to know that you desire her. But like I say, if that harmony is not there and she's off or you may be off, and then now you're both coming together and you're both off, or one is off and the other is off. You always want to make sure that harmony is is in place. Intimacy in sex involves several issues. Pleasure, it involves pleasures, feelings of the other to the way we feel on, in that moment. It doesn't mean that one or the other might like something more, but a balance where both need to feel good. Go back there. Each one, when you come into the bedroom, you can't come into the bedroom any kind of way. We want to set your bedroom up as a sanctuary to invite each other into the mode or the mood to do whatever you need to do in order to make each other happy. So that's important that we understand that don't just go into the bedroom in any kind of way, any kind of fashion, or any other thing on your mind than the person that you're going in the bedroom with. So let me just stop right there, because I need to go back and let you know because when I talk about intimacy and romance tonight and passion, then I want you to know exactly what I'm talking about, because I really saw that in the definitions, there are three different things happening in those things. The first one I want to talk about is passion. Passion is an appetite. It's a craving, a desire. It's lust. It's a longing urge. I believe that's what maybe your people in your 20s, your 40s, your 20s and your 30s and your 40s say. Y'all call it spontaneity. Because I remember them days. It was appetite, it was craving, it was desire, it was lust, and it was longing, and it was the urge. I need you right now. We got to be together right now. Doesn't matter what we need to do, we just need to do it right now. And we omit all those things that we need to be, and I think that's what, just being younger. I think younger people do that, kind of like don't even think about it. They just think that, it's just have to be, real quick, fast, and hairy. I talked to a few married couples last year, and every married couple that I was talking to that was at the table, they kept saying, "Oh yeah, we like the spontaneity part." And I'm sitting there, I'm saying, okay, spontaneity. And I said, I know what spontaneity is. I said, because I used to be 40, I used to be 30, and I used to be 20. And in that spontaneity time, y'all, it was just wham, bam, hit it, miss it, whatever you got to do, da-da-da-da-da, wrap it up, tie it up, tangle it up, shake it up. It was all over the place. And that's kind of like the way it was. So I told them, I said, wait a minute. I said, hold on. I said, you mean to tell me that you and your husband don't have any intimate time in an intimate sexual relationship? Or you don't have intimacy in your sex or in your love making? And they were like, huh? What's the difference? Intimacy is a commitment. What I'm going to do is when I come into you, or when you come into me, you are making a commitment to be faithful, because everybody don't come in the bedroom with this clean. Okay? They come in the bedroom with passion, and it could be an outward agenda, or something that they don't see, or something they're looking at, or something they don't, y'all know what I mean. Let me move on a little bit more. Okay, intimacy is love. It's affection, attachment, closeness, inseparability. And so where I am in my life, I'm totally intimate. My husband is totally intimate with me. I'm totally intimate with him. I don't have a craving for him. I have what you call an attachment to him. I have a inseparability. It's deeper and it's stronger than passion. Now, mind you, there is passion as an active word in the sex or the love making. The passion is there, but it's not just passion. And so what I wanted you to get tonight, that If you are a passion person in the bedroom, I think that you should be able to learn how to do all three. Be romantic, be intimate, and be passionate. Be passionate. So intimacy is that place where you come together and that there's a shaking that goes on. So when I'm intimate with my relationship, I go into to make sure that the desire that my spouse wants, that I'm able to give to him. If that's a desire, if there's something that I want, he's able to do that. Because I'm gonna tell you, if you don't really kind of take it slow and move into it slow, you're gonna find yourself always having an appetite and craving where you're gonna miss what she really wants, or you're gonna miss what he really wants. So the intimacy is very important, for the relationship. Now, romance is an emotional attraction. I'm intrigued with her. I'm attached, and attached in a certain way. We have a personal, gathering, a personal relationship. I give her attention. I give her gifts. I open the door for her. I tell her she's beautiful. I tell her that I love her. These are just romantic things that we do in the relationship. But those things will become stronger. Your romance will become stronger when you really have intimacy in your sex or your love making. I don't want to say sex, but let me put it like making love. That when that intimacy is there, it's just something different about what's really going on. So on this note, we will focus a little on the sexual content. It also implies other issues such as trust, knowing what the other wants. I've talked to a lot of married couples, and the number one thing that I can pick up in a relationship is when neither one of them trust each other. Especially the woman, she really doesn't trust, because if she has been emotionally hurt, then it's hard for her to get over that emotional hurt. I mean, it can happen, but it's still kind of there. And if she's not strong enough to overcome it, she'll always bring it into her mind when she comes together into intimacy with you. It's going to always be in the back of her subconscious. And then she's going to always think, well, if you're going to do it, if you're going to be this way, then I feel like if you be this way, then this is how I feel about this. So it's a lot of emotional hurt and pain that a woman must release in order to be really intimate with, because she has to trust you to give you her all. I remember when I was going through some things in my relationship with my husband, and I had gotten to a point where I had a trust issue with him. And I knew, and this is me, because I knew when we came together, I didn't give him my all. Because in the back of my mind, I'm saying, you know what, brother, you don't deserve my all, because I don't trust you. And so when that issue came up, and I began to realize that issue made a big difference in how he came to me and what he was expecting from me, then he started coming a certain way because I was a certain way. So and I don't know what you can do. Most of the time, women will tell a man that she don't trust him. But if that trust is not there, then you're not going to know what she wants, and she's not going to allow you in. So I think the best thing to do is to make sure that the mate that you're with, the significant one that you're with, your husband or your wife that you're with, you need to make sure that they trust you. Because if they don't trust you, they're not going to give you intimacy. It has to come up on them like a passion, like an urge. I'm craving, so I'm gonna go ahead and allow you in just to fix that or to release that urge. But the intimacy goes deeper than that, because there you have your inter foreplay. I say you have your first session of foreplay. You have your second session of foreplay, and you have your third before you get to all that other stuff that that passion brings on. But that's the place where you want to be, is you want to have that intimacy with your mate, where she feels close to you and that she will open herself up to you like she's never opened herself up to you before. So in relationship, you always want to know that privacy is critical. When you're coming together, and I know that some people have children and they have put their sex life on hold because of kids. I remember that when my kids were here, it wasn't that I was putting my sex life on hold, but I just didn't want because I knew my kids, because I knew I knew, especially Aaliyah Odom. I knew what she was going to say. I knew she was going to come to me after after everything was over, and she was going to drag me and I'm talking about gas me the whole time until she got until she got all of it out, and it happened every time. And so it got to a point where if I was going to be with my husband, I kind of like was real tight. I was real tight. I wouldn't say nothing. I wouldn't express myself, and I was just sitting there and I was just tight. And he would used to always ask me, say, what's wrong with you? And I'm saying, you know what? I don't want them to hear me. Well, and then he would always tell me, so, well, you're missing what you need if you don't want them to hear you, because you're thinking about them and you're not thinking about what we're here for. But I wanted to bring it up that privacy is critical. If you got someone living in your home, if you got someone living in your home, if you got someone that's staying with you, and you don't want to, oh God, and you don't want to, somebody calling my phone.
No, it's all good. I go to look. They probably trying to get in on this stream too. They probably trying to get this information. And actually, that's a good point. We can actually take our first break right there.
God,
what I've heard so far, like harmony. So harmony is important. Satisfaction is two-sided. Satisfaction is two-sided. Then you had, I was listening, and what dropped on me was communication and the priority to make it better. Like there's no quit. And for the first 3 weeks, now these 3 weeks, all I hear is the communication has rung number one in everything that you do, in every aspect of everything that you've talked about. It's been there. So even in this intimacy part, communication has been very big. What I want everybody to do while we're taking this break, the chat just said that's probably Aaliyah calling right there. I agree. Hey, listen. What I want to do right now is I want everybody, while we go on this 1:30 break, I want you to tag 5 or 6 people in this episode. They might already be watching, but tag 5 or 6 people in the episode, because we want to make sure that we get everyone in here to hear these nuggets. Shout out Dr. Odom. Candace is actually here. She's in the building today. So we shout out Candace all the way from Texas. Thank you for joining and watching your mom. Much love to that. You guys, we will be right back in 1:30. All right. We are back. We're into the second part. I don't know about y'all out there, but I am getting fed. Like this is the steak that you can't even, the store don't even sell. This is that steak that you go to, like that special restaurant that only like 2 or 3 people know about, that you just so full that just becomes your favorite spot. Like right here, 7:00 Thursdays, this time that we spent with Bishop and now with the Dr. Odom, this right here has been amazing. And I hope everyone out there is getting knowledge and getting wisdom and building a legacy. So with that, Dr. Odom, we're gonna go jump right into part 2. Let's do it.
Okay. Go back to the relationship as privacy is critical. It's critical because without the privacy, because I'm going to tell you, if you go in giving a good impression, you're going to get a good impression out of it. And what I mean by that is that there are times, and I'm going to say this because there are a lot of women who are embarrassed to express themselves. Men don't have a problem expressing themselves, but women have a problem expressing themselves. And that's the reason why you need that privacy, because if you got somebody in the house and you already got a problem expressing yourself, then you're going to be like a mattress on the bed. You know how a mattress you lay, it don't do nothing. You just lay on it. And a man don't want a mattress, ladies. They don't want a mattress. They want somebody who's going to respond to them, because they gauge on your response. And if you're not responding, then they don't think they're doing nothing. And you might not, and this is what you have to, and I understand this too. Let me put this in here because it's just dropped. You might be somebody who has never ever expressed themselves. You never have been a woman that has been able to express herself. And if that, and I'm gonna tell you now, the only way he's gonna know is that you have to, that what you like, that you got to express yourself. Because if he's doing something and you like it and you like, that's not gonna get it. So you know what? You're gonna lose out, because he's not gonna even go there no more. Because he's gonna figure in his mind, oh well, that didn't work. I don't know. I'm not gonna even go there. I'm just gonna just leave that alone. But that's why you have to make sure that you have that privacy, in your house. Make sure that there's privacy there, so that you can be able to enjoy each other the way you need to enjoy each other. Intimacy intimacy and sex involves several issues, from pleasure and feelings of the other to the way we feel in the moment. This process is what we call the balance point, where both people feel good. I don't know if y'all ever been there. I mean, because this place right here is a place where every woman and man should experience. Because it's worth communicating, and it's worth going in, giving what you know to give, and in return giving back to you. But if you don't get to that point where you cannot express yourself and he's not expressing himself, and you're not getting to that place where you both can be feeling good while you're doing this, because I've talked to a lot of married people. One is good and the other one's not. They're not feeling it. And it's not that they don't love each other. It's not that they don't care about each other, but they don't have the communication to make that contact. And so if you are green in making love, then that right there will happen. You will get to that, you will come to that point where it will not gel the way it needs to gel, because the harmony is not there. And so what you need to do to get that harmony there and begin to gel with your mate is that you have to come in and both of you have to come together, and you have to communicate about what you like and what you don't like. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people say, "Well, I'm embarrassed to tell my spouse or my significant one because they might not like me no more. They might look at me strange, da 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 da." But I'd rather for my husband to look at me strange than me to be thinking in my mind what I'm thinking, what I want to say, but I ain't saying because I'm thinking he's gonna say something totally different about it. I'm not gonna go there, because that puts me in a deeper place where I would continue to keep secrets or continue to keep things to myself because I'm afraid to communicate. You cannot be afraid to communicate when it comes to that. There has to always be that balance point where both of you go in the bedroom and you come out fulfilled. Improve the intimacy. What you need to do, you need to pay attention to what you feel. Pay attention to that. Allow yourself to pay attention to what makes him feel good. Allow him to pay attention to what makes you feel good. That's how you're going to improve your intimacy. Reciprocate what I am feeling, I reciprocate what I'm feeling. Whatever I'm feeling and it's feeling good to me, then I'll reciprocate that back, or vice versa. But somebody has to make sure. You can't be, like I say, trying to figure things out. When you're intimate with your mate, it should be running like a well-oiled machine. It shouldn't have no hiccups in it. It shouldn't have no dry places in it. It shouldn't have no places where the chain gets tangled all up. It shouldn't have none of that in there, because God made love make. He made us to love each other. He put us together to make love and to be together. So we have to make sure that we understand that it's okay to be in love. Okay, it's okay to make your significant one have a good time when you're together. Feed off of her and let him feed off of you. So give lack, Lord, in relief what is given. In other words, give back what is given. Always give back what is given. Eye contact during sexual encounters is essential to assess the level of intimacy and also know if the other is good. Watch your partner. I know a lot of people said I think they watched a lot of TV where when they kiss, they close their eyes. Back in the days when I was watching TV, when they kiss, they close their eyes. Now, when I was watching TV back in the days, we didn't have the stuff they got now. So we didn't know anything about all that other stuff. But always have eye contact, because you can learn a lot with the eye contact and by watching and by looking. That's good for your intimacy. Don't lock off that communication of the eyes, because your eyes communicate too. It is the window to your soul. So if the eye contact is pleasing, then it gives off a vibration, or it gives off a level of intimacy that would never be if you didn't have the eye contact. Okay. Enhance the intimate experience. Passion, and if you alternate it, passion and romance, this enhances the intimate experience for a couple. So if I have romance and passion, then the couple is gonna automatically be in another realm of love making, because now you got that craving and that desire, the longing. Maybe it's been a time where you have been apart and you have not been together. And then that romance, he comes and romances you. He comes to bring and attach himself to you. He comes to bring you flowers. He comes to, do those things that's going to melt you down and get you ready. And in the process, he'll bring passion with it. But then at the end of the day, it should turn into a very intimate time and an intimate relationship between the two. Touching, you always want to be touching. Vision, hearing, smelling, and even taste. All of them at certain times can give extra excitement and pleasure that we have never experienced before. All of those. You got those are the sensories, or the wake up sensories during a sexual relationship, or during sex, or making love, or intimacy, that you have to wake up some things. You got to wake up things in your spouse, and vice versa. She has to wake up things, that are also on the inside of you. Communicate sex. No one has the power to read minds. You got to communicate what you want. Ain't nobody read no minds. Can't nobody read a mind. And a lot of people are lacking in their sexual relation because they started out in a bang, in a boom. They started out, they jumped in there. It was fresh. It was exciting. It was new. But then all of a sudden, as time went on, and I think this, and this is what you have to understand, that you have to make sure that you keep your intimacy hot. Because if you don't, then things will begin to bring down to a low, very low boil, where there's just that little tiny bit of fire that's running up under there, but it's not doing enough to make a bubble, or it's not doing anything to fizz up the relationship or to fizz up the sex. So you have to make sure that you are able to speak out what you like, what you feel, what you want, so that there will be no misunderstanding along the way. I'm a firm believer, and I tell people this all the time. And when people, whoever I talk to, I'm a firm believer, and this is the way I am. That I believe that sex should be until I die. I'm going to have sex until I die. I'm going to have intimacy relationships with my husband until I die. God didn't take a certain time, and I've seen a lot of women say, "Well, I don't have the urge. I don't this da 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 da." But a lot of men don't understand the big, I call it the big boom of foreplay. A woman she's like an oven. She has to be warmed up. And a lot of men don't understand the warming up of a woman, because if he doesn't warm her up, it's just like jumping into a lukewarm stove and not getting anything done. And so all she's going to do is just lay there, because you have not poppled crap, and popped it. You haven't done anything to make her expect something better, expect something out of it. You got to understand, men. You got to understand that you have to be able to learn how to foreplay your mate, your significant one. Because if you don't know what foreplay is, you're going to be just like you were when it's just going to be just dead. There won't be no spark in it anymore, because that is necessary in order for her to give you her all. You've got to do something to make her feel like she's wanted, or like she's the woman, like she's the only person which she is, the only person in the room, and everything that you are giving is on her and nothing else. So you do that by foreplay. And I told you it's foreplay in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. And then start it all back over again. So if you miss out on things that you used to do, and you put it into words, those things will never be communicated. You got to put it into words. If you don't put it into words, it will never be communicated. And you could think that, either one of you can think there's something wrong with y'all's relationship, but you just ain't never talked it out. You never said anything about it. You never told them your secret desire, your fantasy. You never said it. You never even talked to them about it. They don't even know nothing about you and what you like and what makes you tick. So it's very important to communicate your sex. There are no mind readers.
Dr.
Partner?
We'll pause. We'll pause and take a 30-second and then get back to the end of it. But I want to let you know, you have set a new standard at ChopStation. Okay. You have raised the bar, because this comment section that's in here tonight, those comments alone are gonna give some people life by learning the ability to be able to learn, laugh, and retain it. And the comments tonight are fire. I appreciate you all. They're loving it, is what I mean. They're engaged. They're actively engaged. That's why I said get everyone else that they knew, into this session, so that they could actually see this and be a part of this. And then really quickly before we go to break, I remember you and everything. Now I have a great memory, and I might not remember every last little drop, but I definitely remember you teaching women they're not microwaves, they're ovens. And that is an important thing for a man to remember, and that that doesn't start when they get home. That starts in the morning, when they wake up, when they're gone from you, while they're gone, on the way home, until they you just can't warm it. You got to think about that. If you're baking some chicken,
Right,
to unthaw before you can bake it, right? So there's not a lot of time to unthaw as you walk into the bedroom. So it has to happen before then. So I love that, because that is held true, and that's what you've always taught, and I think a lot of men, every man that's listening tonight, you need to understand that is very important. Mm-hmm. That is a key that will help you out. Definitely many of the keys that have been dropped. So we're going to take our last break. We're going to move to the last section. I'm sad, y'all. Like, we're moving to the last part of the episode. And this is time is flying. Like, it's just amazing tonight. So grab you something to drink, quick 30 seconds, bathroom break. We'll see you in a short.
Be bold. Be unique. Shop Jax. Be exclusive. Be one of a kind. Shop Jax. Be yourself. Be different. Shop Jax. Not the same that you're going to see everywhere else. Shop Jax. JaxFlyWorld.com.
All right, we're back. That was a quick 30 seconds. Dr. Odom, we're going to roll right into the last part of it. Give you the floor for you to finish out. And then once you finish out, we do have a few questions that we'll ask and some other things we'll do right at the end. So floor is yours.
Okay, I'm gonna run through these 5 things really quickly because I did want to get these in before we knowing your partner desires long fears and once are powerful once a powerful tool finding the sexual balance. Everybody wants to find a sexual balance. The higher the intimacy, trust in one another, better the relationship. Now there are about 7, 9, 10 things right here. What will not allow you to have an excellent relationship sexually? A lack of time that cools the sex down when you don't have time. Number 2, tiredness. If she is tired, you can communicate intimacy by preparing, relaxing a bath, some cheese, some wine, send a message, like he was saying earlier, call on the telephone, take a shower, wait for her or wait for him. And when you get ready that you know that you're there, but don't let tiredness get in there because that's the number one thing that dampers a relationship because somebody's always tired. I understand that both family members, both mates are working in these days and time, and I understand that. But tiredness will kill a relationship. It will kill intimacy. So make sure that you find somewhere in there where you can be together with and have intimacy with your mate. Depression, feeling of sadness, apathy, lack of perspective. You need to identify this. You might need to seek some help if you're depressed. The other thing is resentment. If you have resentment, you fighting, you got breakups, betrayals can wipe out desire. Understanding what is being bringing on the table with it, you want to combine on you want to continue on the relationship. So it's important that you talk. Women are the ones who have a hard time forgiving. The other one is lack of vigor. The problem is not fatigue, but a lack of fitness. People in their 40s have reported that it's more tiring to have sex than it is physical activity. They say they can go to the gym and enjoy the gym, and they're not tired when they finish the gym, but they're tired when they're having. I'm like, whoa, wow, okay. And if you experience cramps, back pains, or you have some type of breathing problem, you need to see a doctor. Don't make an excuse. Even if you have to exercise, let that lack of vigor. That is the reason why I'm an exerciser. That's why I go to the gym, because I want to always be vigorous in my sexual relationship. I always want to be able to participate at all times. And because I am getting older, and let me put it like this, I am older than any of you probably on here. I am older, but I'm going to tell you one thing. You need to get your exercise regimen. Lose some weight, get your exercise regimen so that you can keep up with the man, keep up with the things that need to be kept up with so that you can take positions like you can take a position like you was 20 or 30 years old. You need to make sure that vigor is there and you are able to do that. Then there's, in the man's process, there's sexual dysfunction, ED. We call it ED. And then women, they have, of course, reproductive problems. This will cease your sexual intimacy. So that's why for the man, there are things out there. I read them all the time on Facebook. There are things out there for men because I know men are having ED at 30 years old now. And women are going into menopause at 30 and over into their 40s. I mean, that was unknown, uncalled for when I was coming up. So, but I know it's in the food, it's in the drink, it's in our lack of doing things that are healthy, keeping ourselves healthy as possible. You got to be able to do that. The women, there are jails out there. I mean, you have a good doctor. A good doctor can talk to you and tell you what you need so that you can keep your, everything going the way it needs to be going. The more intimate the couple develops, the less chance for the problem to influence their sex life. The more, and that's why I employ intimacy in my relationship. I gain on it. I play on it. I make sure that it's intimate. I don't want, I ain't got nothing against that. I don't want a spontaneity all the time. I don't have anything against that. But I would rather have intimacy because I know it works for me. That just works for me. The other one is desires can affect the sex. Your obesity, hypertension, diabetes, those that directly affect the genitals on the reproductive system. You can have a stomach ache. You can be sick. You can be flu. It'll be a whole lot of things that's going on in your body. But most of the times, it's the things that we can fix, like hypertension and diabetes. We can fix that, and we can lose weight so that we can have better sex, have better intimacy. Then there's pregnant. A pregnant woman feels like she's unattracted. But there are ways to get around that too. Then there are the children. Don't just do sex when the children are asleep. Do sex when they're awake. You need to let them know that this is the real thing. This is how things work. Don't be trying to hide the sex from the children. Just let them know that's how you got here. So that they won't be having to be, I think it puts a damper on their understanding of sex. When you tell them, we don't want to, don't want to talk about that. You need to talk to your children. If they ask you a question about it, you need to talk to them about it. This is what my husband and I used to do when my kids, when Leah and them was here, I solved that problem with her. I would go get me a hotel room for a weekend. I would leave Friday night, I'll stay Saturday, and I'll come out for Sunday morning. But that's what I did. That worked for us. I did a whole lot of hoteling back in them days when they was in high school, him and Brandon, so that I could have that intimacy and that time with my husband. You can avoid the children in your bed. Don't be putting babies in your bed. Don't put the kids in your bed, okay? And so there's abuse, women who have been abused. And you have to understand that there are some women who have been abused, and they might not have never told you they have been abused, and they might be a little frigid in the bedroom. But they need to understand, too, that there's help for that. I know there is help for that. And then don't get into a place of routine, where it's just a routine and a habit. Don't make your intimacy a habit. And then the last one, fantasy versus reality. Always make a point of your fantasy and your reality, and know that some things are not going to be able to be working. So let's just come to grips with that and enjoy each other, and that we would be our intimacy would grow more and more. So the more intimacy you have, the more you'll bond. And that's what I teach my married people, that if you ain't having no sex, you ain't bonding. If you're not, and I'm talking, and this is what I'm talking about. You don't went months. You don't went a whole month, and you ain't been with him or her. 2 months, been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. That's too long. That's too long, women, to be talking about. And I told you, the women, that the man has to do something every 72 hours. He has to have some type of relief every 72 hours, because in this day and time, there are deadly things out there that will affect the man's libido if he's not being able to, release himself. So and that will cause an effect where you don't have to worry about him releasing himself with something else if you just go ahead and help him with the situation and enjoy the intimacy and enjoy the love and enjoy the bonding. I'm gonna stop right there.
Yes, ma'am. So I have to say this to bring a little laughter into this.
Yes.
Candace put in the chat, she says, matter of fact, hold on, let me put this up so you can read it, so you can laugh at it too.
You're right. I forgot about we did that one.
So look, Candace, you can't come up here spilling the secrets though. We gotta let them keep some of the secrets for a little bit of time. But
my God.
You're
right. And that's exactly right.
I appreciate you all. I am so listen, Dr. Odom, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for doing this. Thank you for being real. Thank you for being open, honest. My desire for this was not to be cookie cutter. It wasn't to be standard, what everybody hears, the traditional, you got to be this way, that way, and in between. And I mean, listening has helped me again. It's changing. Every time I hear you all talk, and I hope the audience is the same way, I gain more. I'm able to analyze and internalize myself and say, yep, I need to fix this, or I need to fix that. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's about. It's about what you all did. I'm amazed. Dr. Jeffrey he asked one question earlier. Let me I remember seeing it. How important is romance in a sexual experience or love making?
How important?
Yes.
Very. Because in the other two, there's bound to be no foreplay.
Okay.
The intimacy requires a foreplay. That's why it's intimacy. That's why it's different. The other two don't require that. Ooh, excuse me. So intimacy, yes, will have to be that. It definitely requires the foreplay
Okay.
because intimacy doesn't arise naturally. You got to work at that and make it work. Make and put into it what you want, so that the other one can reciprocate from what you're giving into it.
That puts brings it all together. There was a couple other comments. Make sure you keep the lights on instead of turning the lights off. In the
Yeah.
bedroom. Keep the lights on. And then talking. Especially as the woman gets older, the difference in the transition within the woman's body. So
Yes.
that was a comment that was brought in here too. That mattress thing, that as silent as flat as a mattress thing. I think we need to just make that a meme or put a hashtag not mattress. You know what I'm saying? Something. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of people that are thanking you for this. And Candace asked, what does romance look like?
Romance takes you to another world. It takes you beyond the four walls of your bedroom. It takes you out of a place where you were into a place where you are totally fulfilled and every desire is met. So romance speaks volumes about how you feel when all is over with. Staying close and wanting more, seeing more and more of that individual. Because what romance does, it opens you up. You open yourself up like a flower buds and open up. You open yourself up and you allow that place to be filled with more and more love until it begins to overflow. It begins to bud, and when it buds, it comes into a place where, and what I call a bonding technique, it's like glue. And it's almost like nothing can come between, nothing will come between it, and nothing can come between it. Because that romance is something that's totally different from anything that any man or woman has ever experienced until they experience it.
I love that definition. I definitely love that. I have another question for you. You talked about keeping the kids out of the bedroom, but to help the audience and everyone that's listening, what things do you prioritize? Because you talked about making your bedroom that sanctuary. So what things do you keep away from your bedroom?
Well, you want to always keep the sexual agendas. You don't ever want to take anything into your bedroom that does not belong there. That could be a thought process. That could be an agenda. That could be your own, what you're feeling, and not in the process of trying to fulfill the other one. You don't want to have your children sleeping in your bed, especially when. And I understand that during the first few months of that might happen, but when they get up to an age where they can sleep in their own bed, they need to be dismissed into their own bed because they stopped the relationship and the flow. They've already stopped it because she was pregnant and because she might be breastfeeding or whatever the case. That stopped the whole flow of sexual activity. So in order for that relationship to continue to grow and to continue to mature and flourish, then those obstacles have to be taken out of the way so that the man and the woman can come back to that place where they once were.
Okay. How would you start? Another question we have, I'll put this one up from Candace. She says, how would you start? And I think this is a great question right here for a lot of young couples that are listening. How would you start romance if you were a young couple?
Okay. If you are a young couple, how you would start romance is by first perfecting your communication. Because I remember when I was young, I didn't do too much communicating. And I understand that a lot of young people don't communicate like they should anymore. So I believe that that's the first thing you need to do is perfect your communication. And once you perfect your communication, then as you go on in the relationship, there should be changes that are starting to take place through the communication. And like I told you last time, communication can be touching, kissing, rubbing, calling, flowers, the whole 9 yards. If that young person, that young man can communicate these things to this woman at a young in their relationship and in their marriage, then that's something that he could continue on and never ever have to stop, because that's something that he would always see a difference and a growth in her each time he does that.
That is a definite answer there, and it follows up the question. I believe this is Latoya. She's asking this question. She said, "So, what would someone, if they haven't been taught? What if you haven't been taught how to communicate effectively? So, if you haven't been taught to communicate effectively, how do you learn how to communicate effectively?"
Well, that is a good question, because that could go so many ways. But me personally, I think that like I said, I'm a very introverted person, and I don't really talk and communicate to the point where I feel like that a lot of other people do more than I do. But I think that once there's a desire for me, this is me. Once there's a desire that I really want to take place in my life, or in my anything that I'm doing, or anything that I'm coming in contact with, and even in my bedroom, I have learned that I'm going to only be able to get what I want is when I say something. I don't have to learn. I don't have to be effective in it. I just need to know what the desire is and have that desire expressed through communication.
That makes sense, especially combine that with what Candace just said a little, being a young couple, how you go. That makes a lot of sense when you put those things together. So as we move forward, there's some definite things that I want to do before we get off the show. Mm-hmm. I want to bring up an event, the 2022 Dominion Fire Conference, August 25th through 26th is 7:30 p.m. each night. August 27th, 10 a.m. through 3 p.m. And the address is 233 South Adams Street, Petersburg, Virginia. Register on Eventbrite. Dr. Odom, I want you to tell us what the expectation is for this event that you all have coming up.
Well, the expectation for this event, when the Lord gave me this, was that Genesis 1:26-28. And in that particular scripture, it talks about how God in the beginning gave Adam and Eve something to do, and he had them to govern and to rule the earth. Now that when Adam and Eve fell, then God had to bring his only son to reinvent and rebuild. And then at that point, then Jesus left, and then he gave it to us so that we can continue it. What I want people to know, that they have dominion. They can rule and govern any territory that belongs to them. I don't care what it is. I'm talking about let me give an example. Like your home is a territory. Your marriage is a territory. Your finances are a territory. Your car, or your job, those are territories that belong to you. And that you could be anything that you want to. You govern that and you rule on that. And you can have that to become anything that you desire for it to become, because that is something that has been given to us. So we walk in that so that we can be able to reign here on the earth. And that's what our any man, saved or unsaved, you were created to rule, and you were created to reign. And that's the theme. But the reason of this conference is that I wanted to bring, because God had been given to me, laid on my heart, that the people that are in God and serving God, or any person, this can go for anybody. If there's something different you want in your life, learn to reign in it. If there's something you want to go above and beyond the call of duty, to make a special place, or to make it big, then rule and reign over it. Make it what you know that it can be. Make it big. think big. Look at it in a big way. Don't look at it in a very small way, but always know that everything that you desire and that you are capable of, you are able to do that because that's what God has given us. That's what God has given every man and woman, whether you saved or unsaved, and that is to have dominion. We were created for it, and we were designed for it.
Well, I'm excited, audience. You heard the information. You heard the date. Listen, all the episodes are out there. Come back, rewind it, pull the date back up, show up in the place, and meet that expectation there. I also want to shout out before we get off, Resist Booksellers. You all can see that. That's actually downtown Petersburg on Sycamore Street. It's an actual bookstore that's down there. The number is 804-803-2721, resistbooksellers.com. Listen, they always tell us all the time that if we put it in a book, you're not going to read it. We're not going to know. So let's continue to gain knowledge, wisdom, legacy. Let's do it. All types of books. Again, Resist Booksellers. Now, before we close, I want to let you all know that I told you we would be different. I told you that we would not, we don't want you to be as full as a tick and can't share the information. So we are off until October the 6th. Make sure you're in the place October the 6th. You have got 6 weeks straight of power-packed delivered sessions of nuggets of wisdom. Now is the time where we go out, we apply that, pass that knowledge on, share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Go back and watch the episodes again if you need to. Share it to 5 more other people if you need to. But we want to make sure we do that. And then I also wanted to make sure that you understand that I've decided from ChopStation for October and November, it's going to be dedicated to nothing but women's empowerment, because I want the women to have a safe place to be able to speak about different things. So for every week of October and November, we're going to have female speakers and women speakers that are coming in talking about a lot of various topics. So make sure you look for that. Make sure that you're there for that. Listen, Dr. Odom, again, it has been a pleasure. It has been an honor. You guys out there understand, this is just the intermission from when you see them again.
Yeah.
We're not saying when, we don't know how, but we do know it's going to happen because they're always welcome to come here on ChopStation. So, as we always do it, love, live loose, from the heart, ChopStation, we're out. Peace.